with professional screenwriters and filmmakers all over the world. Each student will receive the free software for 1 year and access to film professionals who will visit the class this Black History Month. The workshop is facilitated by award-winning filmmaker Dominga Martin, a Roxbury native and alumni of Boston's Youth Outreach Program. Her work has been seen on BET, VH1, and TV1. The screenwriting series has 35 slots available. Register now. Slots are filling up fast. Must have a Mac or Windows computer and the internet. Available for one class per week for 1.5 hours and between the ages of 17 and 24. Orientation starts January 29th. For more information, email info@afterschoolartsprogram.com or visit www.afterschoolartsprogram.com. ASAP. Follow After School Arts Program on Instagram and Facebook.
Are you tired of renting and need more of your own space? Are you getting stressful letters or calls from the bank? Does your home require expensive repairs and you just don't have the funds to fix them? Regardless of whether you want to buy or sell, Tayla Andre of Thumbprint Realty is here to help. From saving your home from foreclosure to walking you through the process of becoming a first-time homeowner, Tayla makes real estate easy. With your best interests at heart, knowledge of the market, and a passion for people, Tayla is dedicated and motivated to serve you.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre, and I am determined and dedicated in assisting you in all of your real estate needs. Give me a call at 617-459-0041. Again, that number is 617-459-0041. Or you can email me at TaylaAndre@thumbprintrealty.com.
Family Home is a must-read, step-by-step guide that will equip any
Are you tired of renting and need more of your own space?
first-time home buyer with the knowledge they need to confidently make informed decisions. This book provides answers in simple and clear terms to most, if not all, of the questions you may have about credit, home ownership, and generational wealth. Finally Home equips the reader with the confidence to be engaged with the home buying process without feeling vulnerable or exploited. Tayla Made Real Estate Easy is not just a catchy hashtag. It is real estate agent and radio personality Tayla Andre's goal. A goal to simplify one of the most challenging processes you will go through as an adult. A goal to educate you properly on credit and teach you the strategies to finding the home of your dream. It is not just a good book or an easy read. It is the secret to a seamless home buying experience.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre. Has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. Y'all see the spectacles? Y'all like my spectacles? Y'all, I'm blind. For real. I take my glasses off. I can't even see me. I am feeling amazing. I feel good. I feel great. I feel wonderful, but I got to take these big old things off. I ain't going to be able to see nothing. But so yesterday was day one of the 22-day revolution. I'm sorry I'm late. I was on the phone with my nutritionist. We were having conversations, and I am really, really nervous. Transparency. I am considering the stomach lap band, gastric bypass. Like I'm fluffy, y'all. The face looks slim, but the rest of me is thick and not in a sexy way. So yesterday I had to, you remember I told you I had to take the picture? I had to take the picture with the Foompa out. Listen, this is not easy. That was the first time that I took a picture undressed. So without like being fully clothed, head to toe, full length, take a picture, and having to take a picture in like a bathing suit, AKA panty bra, and then looking at yourself in the like it wasn't sexy. I didn't like it. And so, people like, oh, but Tayla, it's great. I'm glad you feel that way when you see it. But when I saw it, I saw every single last one of my imperfections, and it really hurt. It hurt my feelings. It really hurt my feelings to like the fact that I allowed myself to get as big as I am. And so, wearing a size 16 didn't change my mind. Not being able to fit all my favorite dresses didn't change my mind. Yo, I'm so fat, my feet won't even fit in my shoes no more. And that didn't change my mind either. You know what changed my mind was looking at that picture and looking at Tayla Andre from the back and what people see when they walk behind me, what people see when I'm walking towards them, and then what people see from the side, like when I'm just standing, doing me, being me, and what that looks like from the side. And I am not happy with what that looks like at all. And so, oh God, transparency. So you have to work out too. And so part of the 22 days, and I'm in a group chat with I think it's like 50 other people that are doing the 22 day, which is inspiration for days. I had to work out this rising. And when I tell you, I did not complete a full push-up. I want to cry. Like, for real, I want to cry. I wanted to cry earlier when I really went down and could not push myself back up. I used to do cartwheels and splits and round offs and all these other acrobatic weirdo type situations, headstands, buddy, and up, like all that. And I don't have no upper body strength to do one push up. How am I gonna be a pole dancer? I'm gonna be a pole dancer. I can't even do a push up. And so reality hits, and it was difficult for me to come to terms with the truth. And the truth is, I have a lot of work to do. I was struggling to do sit-ups, but I got them squats down packed, though. No. It is good rising. It was difficult. It is difficult. Today, we are discussing toxic relationships, toxic parents, specifically toxic moms, because we talk a lot about, absent fathers and deadbeat dads, but we never have real discussions about toxic family members and toxic mothers and, parents that can't get right, aunties, uncles. And I recently posted about, stop making your children have relationships with toxic family members. And I was like, yo, if this ain't a word, this is a whole word right here. And I did not know that it was such a big deal until people were hitting the inbox like, yo, you don't understand how toxic my mother is. So I had to go ahead and do a little research for myself, my own due diligence. And I'm reading some of this stuff and I'm like, yo, am I toxic? Anari, sorry, tell me if I'm toxic. Sorry is honestly, back in the day, you were hella toxic. There was something wrong with you. And she was just like, I don't know what changed, but no, this, I'm reading what this is, and it doesn't, you no longer look like this. And so I just want to pat myself on the back. Because if you have to, you pat yourself on the back if you used to be toxic, if you used to be crazy, if you used to do dumb stuff, and then growth is a real thing. When I was a child, when I thought like a child, when I was a child, I thought like a child, but I don't know. The Bible said it. And a lot of us still have our childish ways, even though we are whole adults out here. And so as far as news is concerned, I am really excited. Hey, Julian Mitchell, co-founder of IQ Labs, is doing a session with T-Mobile. Shout out to Julian. He's really dope. We have a interview with Julian from back in the day. But I'm really excited about Wells Fargo investing $50 million into 6 Black-owned banks. But I also want $50 million is 50 multifamilies in the city of Boston. Really? That's all you could do? Bank of America? How much money have you stolen over the years from Black people in the form of not paying them what they owe, not hiring Black people as a whole? How y'all in the news for being sued and you just gonna throw $50 million into... That's how blind I am. Into 6 Black-owned banks? That's not even that's not even $10 million per bank. What is it, 8? $8 million. You couldn't do better than 50 million? At 500,000, that's 100 single families at 500,000. And that's like, if you take a look, I was looking in Atlanta, because you guys know I'm a real estate agent in Georgia as well. So I was looking at some of properties in Atlanta. You know, a 3-bedroom in Atlanta costs as much as a 3-bedroom in Boston for rentals? Yo, and their Section 8 voucher ain't covering $3,000. It's absolutely insane to me. So Wells Fargo, I really need you to do better. 50 million. I really did not. I butchered that math. But so a 3-family in Massachusetts is like, in Boston specifically, is $1 million plus. So that's 50 multifamilies, or maybe even like 48 multifamilies in Boston. And so $500,000, that's 100 single families. You couldn't give more money than that at $500,000. And if they're only buying in Georgia, that's 150 single families. It just doesn't make sense. Part of the investment was part of a pledge that Wells Fargo made last year to invest up to $50 million in Black-owned banks. As part of an investment, the banks will also have access to Wells Fargo's team for financial and technological development in order to help each MSI grow and benefit. These investments are designed to help the banks become stronger and more impactful in minority communities that they serve, which leads to economic revitalization and job opportunities. So many communities have suffered over the past year. MDIs need the capital, but they also need the benefits of access for other resources. Wells Fargo is committed to building lasting strategic relationships with these institutions in order to support their goals. The investment and support from Wells Fargo will allow us to sustainably increase and impact closing the racial gap. We are grateful and committed to ensuring that this capital helps drive transformational wealth building opportunities for communities and customers. And this is from Dominique Martin, the president and CEO of Optus Bank. I was reading through here trying to see if they gave any money to what's the people with them name? First United Bank. Is it United Bank? The people who want to steal identities and pass it off as themselves only gave 13 loans in the last 5 years, including business loans, including housing loans. And they have 2 banks in Boston that always be empty, and they don't ever do right by folks anyways. I had an account, past tense, because I was trying to support a Black-owned business, but when I had to wait 14 days for the card and another 14 days for the password, can we just like reset the password? Can I come to the bank and reset? No, we don't have that technology. So yes, they are in dire need of help. A California woman who contracted COVID-19 was charged $1.3 million in medical expenses. Several insurance companies have waived out-of-pocket expenses during the pandemic, but not all of them. Patricia Mason of Sacramento was hospitalized from March 28th until April 20th. During that time, she received treatment at 2 different hospitals. Months after she was released, Mason received a medical bill totaling $1,339,181.94. Listen, you just might as well. I'm about to move in, cause y'all ain't getting this. What? Where? Who? The Women's Insurance Blue Shield of California covered a majority of the bill. She still owes $42,184.20 for out-of-pocket, out-of-network costs. She said it's unlikely she will ever pay off the debt. You better tell them. They got a picture of her and her dog. Her dog got like a human sweater on with a hoodie. And she's like, they ain't getting that. She said, I don't have $42,000 to spare. Her and her husband reportedly have 5 jobs between the 2 of them. And they were at a point where they were trying to make it through the next 15 years. So hopefully we can one day retire. Am I lucky enough to be alive? Amen. So we take that into consideration, but the reality is I don't have the money. It's not going to happen. I love it. Tell the truth, baby. Mason's hospital costs reportedly breakdowns as follow: $479,162 for her stay in the care unit, the Corona Care unit at the North Bay Medical Center in Fairfield. It was 20 days. 2,471 divided by 20. That is $23,000 a day. There's no way that her medical care was worth $23,000 a day. If y'all don't see a problem, $470,950 for pharmacy charges and respiratory services. No, that's $470,950 for pharmacy charges and $166,669 for respiratory services. You done lost you lost your mind. And taking a look at this bill, so she went ahead and posted what the bill itself looks like. The way this is highway robbery. Like, this is not real. This is not real. My heart just dropped like I just got the bill. Okay, in other news, defund Line 3 because stopping the pipeline is a matter of justice. Over the next 2 months, the financial companies are going to be hit with defund DPL. So back in 2016, defund DPL was huge because we actually had many conversations with the water protectors and had many conversations with Yonazdaha Lone Wolf, as well as because she's a Native American, and so she put us in contact with the Native community out in the West that we're going through the defund DPL. And I'm going to see if we can go ahead and find the song that talks about, like, you can't just, this is treaty land. You can't do what you want to it. On March 31st, 18 banks have a $2.2 billion loan to Enbridge that is due for renewal. That's just 50 days from now. Between now and then, they're going to do everything in their power to make it loud and clear that executives of those banks must walk away from Line 3 or there will be consequences. I don't know whose bank these are, but I definitely will take my money out. Banks providing financing for the climate destruction need to stop lending Enbridge money to build the tar sands pipeline. And you can add your voice at defund Line 3. If you hashtag defund Line 3, stop the money, stop the pipeline. And this is a form of boycott, period. Boycott the damn banks. If they're funding the destruction of treaty land, why not cut it off immediately? I just want to give a shout out to all of the First Nations. I have so much love, so much respect for all of you and everything that you guys have to go through. You think it's hard being a Black man or a Black woman in America? Try being an Indigenous person, a First Nation who this is your sovereign land, and MFs just came in here and took stuff and was like, oh, we're going to give you this low piece of land right here. You can't grow nothing on it. It won't yield you any crops. We're about to poison all of your water, and whatever you can grow, we're going to destroy that land as well with these, oil pipelines. Oh yeah, in that cemetery that has all of your ancestors, we're going to dig that up so we can do what we need to do for the greater good of business. Police officers are in the habit of being obeyed. The court rules deputies violated a black man's constitutional rights when they arrested him because he wouldn't show ID. So on February 4th, the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals partially overturned a lower court's ruling that held the arrest of George Wingate by Stafford County deputies was legitimate. The deputies invoked a local statute that requires people to show identification to authorities for a reason involving public safety. But the judge, Roger Gregory, wrote in Thursday's unanimous decision that the factors that led deputies to suspect Wingate of criminal activity were not enough to warrant requiring him to show identification. This is huge because remember, whatever happens in the court system is then used as like, oh, but remember when you cheated on me in 2013? Let's talk about this right here. Like, let's use that as an example. And so when something happens in the court or something is overturned in the court, these are important because these are the cases that then help build other cases in the future. And so I'm really excited for this. Early in the rising on April 14, 2017, let's talk about what is the amendment for like swift trial, a speedy trial. We need to revisit the Constitution because 2017 and 2021 is not a speedy trial, my love. And so April 14th, 2017, when the 28-year-old Wingate was working as a rideshare driver, he was pulled over on the side of the road on Jefferson Davis Road at 2 a.m. after his check engine light came on. He looked under the hood of his car with a flashlight to see if there was anything wrong. Finding nothing evidently amiss, he left the car hood up and the engine running and re-entered his car to try diagnosing the problem from using an AutoZone detector little thing from his phone. A deputy pulled over behind him and asked him if he needed any help. He said, no, I'm good. The deputy, Scott Fulford, asked Wingate to show identification. That's when the situation escalated. Fulford later said he became suspicious of Wingate because he was wearing dark clothing and stepped out of his vehicle when he pulled up. Fulford also said that there had been thefts in the area. A dash cam captured the exchange between the two. Am I free to go? Wingate asked. No, the deputy responded. Am I being detained? If not being detained, then I'm free to go, Wingate said. You're not free to go until you identify yourself to me. Fulford said he refused to show identification, and that's when Fulford called for backup. So Fulford and another deputy arrest Wingate. Criminal charges were later dropped. Police officers are in the habit of being obeyed, said Wingate's attorney, Victor Glassberg, and sometimes they don't take it very well when they're not, and that's what got him riled up. And so just because the man was wearing dark clothing does not mean I'm glad. Are you a lawyer or something? Nah, I'm not. But I know enough to know that you ain't about to illegally search my. So with that being said, we're going to take a really quick break, pay these bills. And when we come back, we're going to finish up the news. And then we're going to talk about these toxic parents, these toxic family members. How do you confront them with love? Because they're still family. We still love them. You just toxic as hell. And I can't. I can't.
The People Station. What is that? Spark FM.
ASAP After School Arts Program is a remote learning incubator focused on amplifying the voices of impacted youth in the community ages 17 to 24. ASAP kicks off with a screenwriting workshop sponsored by Final Draft, the leading software for professional screenwriters and filmmakers all over the world. Each student will receive the free software for 1 year and access to film professionals who will visit the class this Black History Month. The workshop is facilitated by award-winning filmmaker Domingo Martin, a Roxbury native and alumni of Boston's Youth Outreach Program. Her work has been seen on BET, VH1, and TV1. The screenwriting series has 35 slots available. Register now. Slots are filling up fast. Must have a Mac or Windows computer and the internet. Available for one class per week for 1.5 hours and between the ages of 17 and 24. Orientation starts January 29th. For more information, email info@afterschoolartsprogram.com or visit www.afterschoolartsprogram.com. ASAP. Follow After School Arts Program on Instagram and Facebook.
Are you tired of renting and need more of your own space? Are you getting stressful letters or calls from the bank? Does your home require expensive repairs and you just don't have the funds to fix them? Regardless of whether you want to buy or sell, Tayla Andre of Thumbprint Realty is here to help. From saving your home from foreclosure to walking you through the process of becoming a first-time homeowner, Tayla makes real estate easy. With your best interests at heart, knowledge of the market, and a passion for people, Tayla is dedicated and motivated to serve you.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre, and I am determined and dedicated in assisting you in all of your real estate needs. Give me a call at 617-459-0041. Again, that number is 617-459-0041. Or you can email me at TAYLAANDRE@thumbprintrealty.com.
Good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I am Tayla Andre. Waking up with Tayla Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. So I want to introduce you to Idris Sandhu. He is a 23-year-old Ghanaian tech genius behind Uber, Snapchat, Instagram, and guess what? The Marathon store. And so he created the first smart retail store experience along with Nipsey Hussle. The store is called the Marathon store. When he was 10 years old, Sandhu started learning programming on his own and for the next 2 years at a public library. And this is where he got spotted by a designer from Google who offered him an internship opportunity at the company's headquarters, starting his career at Google at 13 years old. Sandhu is very well versed in history, economics, and technological implications. At 15 years old, he created a smartphone app that made it easier for his classmates to find other classmates. The invention made him meet with the former U.S. President Barack Obama and received a recommendation certificate. At the age of 19, he was creating his own apps and software. He has worked with cities to start STEM programs in local schools, develop algorithms for companies like Uber, Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. In 2007, Idris and hip-hop artist entrepreneur Nipsey Hussle came together to create the first smart store, leveraging the stealth and uniqueness of his AIPE technology and Nipsey's cultural influence. So the store displayed its groundbreaking features, the ability to scan an album cover to activate new spins into scanning painted text on the wall and being able to stream that video's content. And so Sandhu has also served as technical consultant for Kanye West and partnered with Jaden Smith. His work has been recognized by many macro influencers, including the likes of Mayor Eric Garcetti and Barack Obama. His message is one that speaks to our youth about being informed. And at 13 years old, he was working at Google. You can't tell me that our children are not able. He took his ass to the library to learn. What was the name of the show yesterday? What was the name of the show yesterday? No excuses. None. So Motown is currently mourning one of the greatest sweethearts. Mary Wilson died at the age of 76 in her home in Vegas. She was one of the Supremes. The star passed away at her home in Las Vegas on February 8th. Her publicist has confirmed with cause of death being yet unannounced. Wilson's funeral service will be held privately in accordance with current health and safety guidelines. Along with bandmate Diana Ross, Wilson was at the forefront of the Motown sound after singing with the label in 1961. Mary Wilson was extremely special to me. She was a trailblazer, a diva, and will be deeply missed. And that was from Berry Gordy. And upon learning about her death, I went ahead and went back to listen to her catalog and to just specifically go back and listen to her vocals. And she was talented, even as an elder, like coming back and doing shows, a sample of a little bit of each song, her vocals were still strong. The Supremes were always known as the sweethearts of Motown. Mary alongside Diana Ross and Florence Billard. They went to Motown in the early 60s after a number one hit television and nightclub booking. They opened doors for themselves and other Motown acts and many, many others. I have always been proud of Mary. She was quite a star in her own right, and over the years continued to work hard to boost the legacy of the Supremes. Mary Wilson, and this was again from Barry Gordy, was extremely special to me, and she was a trailblazer, a diva, and she will be deeply missed. We are coming to a point, like, we are the elders. I was having a conversation with my mentor, and we were talking about one of our community elders, Mel King. And Mel King, if you don't know anything about Boston, kicked down door after door after door after door, and created space and set his own trail ablaze. Like, Mel King is a living legend, like literally is a living legend, and walked with some of the greats down the streets of Roxbury in South End before it was gentrified. And he's still here. And so if you guys know, I have an affinity for my elders. And so I really want you to take some time to call your elders and to just let them know that you love them and you appreciate them. And when stuff like this happens, like for instance, imagine, you probably can't even imagine being an elder, but like imagine, Mariah Carey just passed away. God forbid it, but you're like, yo, me and Mariah Carey are kind of like the same age. We grew up in the same era. You kind of feel like, damn, I'm next. And so as we're losing all of our elders and losing our icons of the past, check in with your elders, because it hits home for them. It reminds them that, damn, I'm next. Like, I'm not too far along from Mary. I'm not too far along. Like, so just check in with your elders, see if they need anything. You know what? What I would like to do really quickly, I'm going to just play a Supreme song really quickly. And then if you know any elders or family that need any help as far as food is concerned, Supremes and Mary Wilson lead. I'm going to give you a message for the elders to text, or for you to text, in order to give some information for the elders. And we'll talk about it in a minute. Let me get that information for you. Before you break my heart, baby, I'm aware of where you go. Each time you leave my door, I watch you walk down the street, knowing your other love in me. But this time before you run to her, leaving me alone and hurt. Haven't I been good to you? Haven't I been sweet to you? Stop in the name of love before you break my heart. Stop in the name of love before you break my heart. Take it over, baby, baby, take it over. I've known of your secluded night. I've even seen her maybe once or twice, but it's her expression worth more than my love and affection. This time before you leave my arms and rush off to her charms, haven't I been good to you? Haven't I been sweet to you? Stop in the name of love Before you break my heart to get over. Okay, so I want you to text black to 33339. So 4 3s and a 9. If you know any elders that are in need of any food baskets, other resources will be made available in the next few weeks. But right now, if you know anybody that's in need of food or food services, specifically elders, we will, like, if you know families, you can go ahead and send it to families. But first and foremost, I want to make sure that we make sure our elders are good, because you guys know how I feel about the elders. And so maybe you don't know, over the last few weeks, I've been helping, just doing nonprofit work. Hey, good rising, Kente. I've been doing nonprofit work and been dropping food off to elders. When I tell you, like, our elders are in dire freaking need, from being attached to machines to having knee issues and hip issues, not being able to walk there, just so limited in so many things. Like, if you have trouble coming to the door, how are you grocery shopping? Well, when my neighbor goes out, I just ask them to get me a little something. If you know any neighbor that needs anything in the city of Boston, and I'm so sorry that we are only available in the city of Boston, please text black to 33339. And once you text, you will be opting in. We will be calling you. And once you call, once we call, just give us the information for the elders, like their address, their phone number, so we can go ahead and make sure that they have some food. And we get food from Shirley's Pantry. And if you know anything about a Shirley's Pantry, she don't play. Like, I remember going and pick up food, canned goods, and you get that old ass cranberry sauce, some nasty rice that's not even real rice. It look like plastic. The peanut butter that don't even smell like peanut butter. Miss Shirley, you're getting real food. You're getting salad, eggs, milk, cheese. She, like, a whole pound of sharp cheddar cheese. She take it all the way back. So if you are, again, know anyone in the city of Boston that's in need of any resources, including but not limited to food. So let's just specifically talk about our elders that are in need of food. Text black to 33339. So 4 3s and a 9. Text black, BLCK. And then once you get a phone call, go ahead and give them the elders information, and we'll take it from there. Those boxes are heavy. They're like 50 to 75 pounds each box, filled with food to the brim. She gives them fish. She gives them milk. Shout out to Miss Shirley and all that she does. I appreciate every ounce of her. Like, giving back is... it's amazing. So this is what I wanted to show you really quickly, just so you can understand what is going on and what do I do in my free time. And Tayla don't do nothing for real. Y'all can see this? These were computers that were given to families that identified themselves as being in need of a computer. Shout out to Dr. Tia Martin. Next Leadership Development Corporation is her nonprofit. You see the BBCC, the Black Boston COVID Coalition, All Aces Inc., That Child Got Talent, the Bridge Collective, and a Tayla Andre, doing outreach and engagements. We have ongoing outreach efforts through phone calls, text messages, and in-person engagements to ensure that many of Boston's Black residents are connected to reliable information to make good decisions. What I told you about informed decisions are truly important to me. Wellness checks. We conduct phone calls and send text messages to Black residents to check in on their well-being and connect them to resources that we have partnered with. We focus on populations, elders, families, and people with disabilities. Again, if you know anybody in need of food, elders, families, people with disabilities, specifically elders. 3333 Black, and you will get a call within the next week. Collective Care, we coordinate outreach, wellness checks, and relationship building. And so this is not temporary. If you want to go to the site yourself and fill this out for the elder, you don't want to text nobody, you just want to like put the elder's information, you can go to nextleads.org/connect, or like we can make it super simple. So this is the nextleads.org website. Next Leads, you see this? Stay informed. Text Black to 33339. Food sites, pantries in Boston. Miss Shirley is all the way up a hill, round a corner. If you don't have access to a car, the food will be dropped off to the elder or to the person who is disabled. And so you come to the top and you go to programs, and we are Black Boston Connects. And this Black Boston Connects do have resources. Right now, we are on hold for gift cards. We have given out over $10,000 in gift cards in the quantities of $25 to $50 denominations in order for families to get whatever it is that they need. No questions are asked. We're not micromanaging you. Do you need services? Yes. What services do you need? We have access to a yoga instructor. We have access to Miss Shirley's Pantry, gift cards, the yoga services. Oh, for the kids, if you know anybody who needs help, we have an Afrocentric school mentorship type program. So if you need help, there's help out here. For us, by us, help. Nextleads.org, next LEADS.org, and just fill out the form for yourself or for an elder and let us know what it is you need. Do you need to receive a wellness check? Just checking in with you, calling. Do you need to know where mobile testing is? And we will, not now, but will be helping out with the elders, making sure that they receive the vaccine if they choose to do so. And so I say all that to say, again, Black 333339. In other news, so BECMA is actually one of the organizations that is a part of the Black Boston COVID Coalition. And many of the Black organizations, the NAACP, are a part of the Black Boston COVID Coalition to make sure that Black residents have access and the need. And they are the reason why the Reggie Lewis Center is, space for people to get a vaccine, because they were fighting for us, by us, and it's us. It really is a bunch of Black elders and Black community members and Black people who care about Black people here in the city of Boston. And so BECMA put out a statement regarding the results of the Boston's disparity study. And so on February 5th of 2021, it used to be WGBH, but they go by GBH now. GBH News and the Boston Globe share the results of a yet-to-be-released disparity study, which was commissioned by the city of Boston in 2018. The results are disturbing, however, not surprising. So the study revealed what BECMA members and community leaders have been saying for decades. The city of Boston does not value Black businesses or the Black community. The 703-page report lays out in stark detail that despite the pronouncements, the public statements, the executive orders, the policies that Mayor Marty J. Walsh and his administration have failed to deliver fair and equitable procurement for Black-owned businesses, as well as for other minorities. Bold leadership is required to immediately correct the systematic problem. According to the Boston Globe, the study analyzed over 47,000 contracts awarded by the city over a 5-year period from 2014 to 2019, worth over $2.1 billion. And out of that $2.1 billion, 11% of the contracts were awarded to minority and women-owned business. I want to be clear. There are a lot of businesses, not all, but a lot of businesses that have Steve's wife, Jennifer applying for this because Jennifer is 51% owner, which means Jennifer is the what is it called? The not dominant. Yes, the dominant primary. Jennifer is the primary owner of the business. And because Jennifer is the primary owner of the business, married to Steve, her name is on the business. It's really Steve's business, but as a woman, it's considered a minority-owned business because white men ain't never let their woman do a damn thing. And so that's how women became minority, because the white man wouldn't let his wife do a damn thing. Tell me I'm lying. So only 0.4% or $9.4 million was given, or not given. Let me be clear, because it wasn't a handout situation. It wasn't a grant. You have to actually go through the RFPs. You have to go through the application process. You have to bid on these jobs, and $9 million out of $2.1 billion was awarded to Black-owned businesses. This puts Boston, which only recently committed itself to defeating racism, far below its counterparts in public spending with minorities and women-owned businesses like New York at 19%, Chicago at 29%, and Philadelphia at 31%, and Boston is here at 11%. These statistics make the sworn testimony delivered by Mayor Marty J. Walsh to the U.S. Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, Pensions on Thursday, February 4th, where he said, during my administration, businesses thrived, attracting $43 billion of investment and creating 77 million square feet of new development. Completely misleading. I don't know why Beckma didn't just say he lied. I understand why, because they trying to sever, they trying to keep a relationship strong. They ain't trying to be like, oh, he a liar. It's just misleading. Nah, bitch, that's a lie. I didn't cheat on you. I just got head. What you lying for? That's cheating. So only those businesses owned primarily by white men actually thrived under his administration. But guess what? We have a new commissioner, a new police commissioner, who apparently beats his wife. And I, Tayla Andre, have been vetted more than the damn police commissioner. Yo, that's gonna be the key for the rest of the life, Mayor Marty Walsh. That's gonna be the key. How you gonna vet Tayla Andre more than you vet the police commissioner? I still want my interview. Let's talk about this 11%. I digress. The results of the disparity study are not unexpected, even to Mayor Marty J. Walsh administration. A spokesperson for the Office of Economic Development confirmed as much when he said, while the results of the study are not surprising, they reaffirm our belief that more work needs to be done. It's enraging that the city of Boston paid $1 million to an out-of-state, non-minority-owned consulting firm to tell them that Black business owners and community leaders have been repeatedly saying for decades. Yo, I'm so angry, because how many times have I sat here and said over and over and over again, we can sit here and tell you to a blue in the face what we experience, but you want to pay somebody else to do the research before you believe what we're telling you. We live this every day. What the fuck? Why you got to bring somebody in to give you the numbers of if you actually sit down, we will give you the numbers. We'll tell you the numbers. $1 million could have went to them red shirt kids out here with no jobs. $1 million could have went out here to the street workers that actually do the damn work with these gangs that don't get paid. You know how many street workers we have that don't have a title street worker that deserve money? How many non-profit organizations that actually do the work that don't get a red cent, that don't get no money, that stay up in the middle of the night making sure that neighbors are good, and all they get is a little award. Hey, we got you this glass plaque for $49.99 to tell you that we're so proud of the work that you've done. But the impact is insurmeasurable. I don't know if that's a word. I don't. I may have made it up. it just, I'm annoyed because we continuously over and over again talk about how great the administration is, but we don't want to talk about the problems. Like, oh yeah, you want to create a lot of housing. That's great. But can we please address the problem? Now, mind you, when he became mayor, how many years ago was that? The first question I asked Mayor Marty Walsh was not that. We'll talk about that when him and I speak. I wonder if he remembers the first question I ever asked him. But in interview, the first question I asked him is, so what are we going to do about this AMI? And he was like, what do you mean? The area median income that includes freaking Brookline and Newton. The reason why our housing is so unaffordable is because it's not based on the 50% of Bostonians that make under $30,000. It includes Newton, whose median income is $158,000 a year. It includes Brookline, whose median income is $89,000 a year. It may have gone up. These are the numbers that I remember from 2017. And so, therefore, we demand the following substantive actions be carried out to address this crisis. Immediately set spending goals for 15% Black-owned businesses and a combined 40% for minority and women-owned businesses. Listen, Beck Ma, let's talk, because I don't even like that number. Because now you're giving white women, my math sucks. 40% minus 10, 30, 25. You're giving white women and no, because Asians are considered minorities too. But Asians got 35% of the freaking $1 billion that the city had. I digress. 25% for 40%, 15% specifically for Black-owned businesses, with a combined of 40% for women and minority-owned businesses. Immediately remove from their positions the chief financial officer and corporate counsel who have been stumbling blocks of the progress. Hold on. Can we please go down this rabbit hole? I want to know who the chief financial officer is for the city of Boston. Chief financial. I think I know who it is, but I don't want to talk no trash until I actually know who it is. You know who I thought I was about to say. I ain't about to say no names though. Well, I can tell you that job is on that job's on Indeed right now. The chief financial officer for the city of Boston. Yo, where my people at? I wish I had an intern right now so they could go down this rabbit hole. Yeah, go down this rabbit hole. Who is the chief financial officer for the city of Boston? Emmy Handy. Mayor Marty J. Walsh today announced the appointment of, and this was in 2017. She is the chief financial officer, the CFO, the collector, treasurer, and chief administration and finance for the city of Boston. Handy brings more than a decade of experience in government finance, administration, fiscal policy, and management to the role. And she may have some biases because she's a white woman. And so she was doing the thing that she was always doing. So she didn't think she was doing anything wrong. Who was the other person that needed to be fired? That corporation counsel. City of Boston. Corporation Council of Boston Law Department. But who is they hiring for that job too? So LinkedIn has George Bahanin as the assistant corporation counsel to the City of Boston Law Department. But let's see if we can go. We might change the damn name. We might change the name of the show from Wake Up with Tayla Andre to going down that rabbit hole, because that's clearly what we doing sometimes. Corporation counsel at the City of Boston. Who is it though? Email for claims, email for tax titles. Oh, Meet the Corporation Counsel, Eugene L. O'Flattery. Can we send him an email? Full name. Tayla Andre. Email address. Tayla Andre at thumbprintrealty.com. Subject. In case you didn't know. In case you didn't know, we want you fired. I just want to send this to him really quickly. So therefore, BECMA.org. It is a post disparity study statement. I want him to have full access to what I'm sending him. So I'm sending him the link and reminding him that we want him to be fired. So therefore, these are our demands. And the question is, will you be resigning? Oh, yes, that's real life. Hold on, not period. Question mark. It should be a statement. You are resigning. Where is your letter of resignation should be the question. Okay. We went down that rabbit hole. So immediately enact the policy tying performance evaluations, compensations, bonuses, and future employment for all cabinet level positions, department heads, procurement officers, and other staff across citywide departments to achieve equity and diversity goals. Immediately direct all city departments and quasi-city agencies, aka the Black Removal Authority, also known as whatever the hell they renamed themselves after the club got shot up. Immediately make equity and inclusion unit an independent entity with strong enforcement and oversight powers and a full staff that allows monitoring of all projects across the city, spending across all departments, including quasi-city agencies. And so where BECMA at? I really, what's the boy name for BECMA? His name is weird. It's not weird, but what is his name for BECMA? Members. BECMA is, what's his name? BECMA. Go down BECMA, look at images. I can see his face in my face. Oh, Shugan. Shugan. S-U-S-E. Do 45, 47.
Please leave your message for 85771.
I can't just make the man thing. Yes, sir. I am currently live on air reading the statement regarding the results of Boston disparity study, and I would like to get you in the building to discuss the demands. Can you send me your email address so I can send you the link to schedule whenever you're available? Period. Okay, so it is 12:13 and we are way over our time. There's a whole lot of news, but I guess we will read that tomorrow. Let's talk about the Emma Handy. Thank you, Bria. Thank you. I love you so much. Caitlin said, that is not surprising, but it still hurts to know it. Absolutely. These are the truth. I promise to tell the truth. I'm a clergyman and local minister for a church, and I would like to connect with you. Please get your information. Tayla Andre at thumbprintrealty.com. You can hit me up. Or TaylaMadeRealEstateEasy@gmail.com to end institutional racism and change the name to Faneuil Hall. Oh, so you're working with, we interviewed him to change the name to Faneuil Hall. I can't think of his name right now, but I can see his face in my face. We did have a conversation with him, and that was a really interesting conversation. So let's think that. Oh, yay! Okay. Toxic. toxic parents, how to deal with them, and not just parents, but period, relationships. How do you spot a toxic parent? What is a toxic parent? How do you deal with a toxic? Like, first and foremost, let's figure out like the signs to look for in a toxic relationship. And so the first thing, if you don't know what toxicity looks like, and a lot of us don't even know what toxic parents look like. So if you have toxic parents, or toxic family members, you dread being around them no matter the occasion. Your interactions always leave you feeling weak, unseen, unheard. The way that they treat you and others is completely unsettling. They guilt you during conversations. You feel unsettled just being in their presence because their energy is so toxic and it's succubus-ish. You worried about your own safety and the safeties of others when you're around, and not necessarily safety as in like harm, but safety as in like the verbal energy. And so if we can have a real conversation about toxic family members, can we please have a real conversation about how parents, you know what you can do for me? You know what you didn't do for me? Why you didn't do this? Why you didn't, like, how could you do this for yourself, but you didn't think about me? Like, they take everything you say personally. You can't just say, people are annoying. Oh my God, why am I annoying? I wasn't even talking about you. Like that wasn't even the issue. Your fights are a result of personal issues and not misunderstandings. And so instead of it being, oh, I'm so sorry I showed up. Oh, this is a good one. I'm so sorry I showed up late. I was in the middle of a meeting. Why would you do that to me? Why would you come and pick me up late? I had a long day at work. Like I didn't mean, like I was literally stuck in traffic. There was nothing that I could do. The traffic wouldn't move. I left the house in enough time for me to come get you. Like you're yelling and screaming at me for something I had absolutely no control about. Like it's life. I'm sorry. I told you I'm sorry. And it's always like you meant to do that. I'm thinking of a friendship situation where it was like I misplaced something. It was just like, you didn't misplace it. You don't want to see me happy. What? Like that friendship had to cancel. Like I had to cancel that because the signs were too like, woo, woo, woo. Nah, don't have the time. Don't have the time at all. You leave your arguments feeling drained and manipulated. You're noticing signs of gaslighting. And so I was completely ignorant of what like the actual terminology of gaslighting is. And so I had to look it up. And gaslighting means you're being made to doubt your own feelings, thoughts, intuition, and judgment. And so they gave an example like the example is about like your partner, but I'm trying to put it in the way of like a family relationship. But in the relationship with a partner, it was like, so did you go out with a male friend or a female friend? And it's just like, I went out with my friends. Well, was there any men around? It's just like, well, yeah, there were men around, but did you find any of them attract? Like, what? I went out with my girlfriends. We went to dinner. Well, are you sure that was your only intention? Like, what? Yeah, you left me here in the house by myself. Nah, you a grown ass man. What the hell you mean I left you here by yourself? Are you a kid? Are you unsupervised? What are you saying right now? Like, you sound dumb. I went out with my friend. Like, I ain't seen my friends in how long? I just went out with my friends. There were men around. I wasn't paying them no attention. I didn't leave you. You were here. I came home. So so gaslighting is like flipping the question back on you, making you feel bad about the choices that you made. Oh, damn. I really shouldn't went out with you to dinner last night. Tyrone was really upset that I left him in the house by himself. He really didn't want me to go out. Your concerns are completely disregarded. Like, I really miss my friends. And it's just like, well, do you like your friends more than you like me? They keep telling you that you have trust issues. They make you reconsider past events. They call you crazy. You're scared to confront them. You can never just have a conversation with them because everything always turns into an argument. It's always ultimatums. Like, let's talk. If we're going to talk about this, we're going to have a real conversation about how toxic your parents are. And I feel like toxic parents are more so moms. Like, moms give you the guilt trip. They make personal attacks on you and your character in the argument. So instead of it's just like we're disagreeing on like, I came in the house at 10. No, you didn't. You came in the house closer to 11. It was 10:45. It was still 10, but it was 10:45. You said you were going to be home at 10. Oh, I was 45 minutes. Like, I called you. I told you I was on my way. Like, what's the problem? You always do this. You always want to spend more time with your friends than you want to come home. I'm always at home. Like, it just is constant back and forth. Like, this is super toxic. And how many of us engage in toxic relationships over and over and over again? Someone hit me up and was like, yo, my toxic mother-in-law, Tayla. Like, you don't understand. My mother-in-law is so toxic. She want her son to herself. She don't understand that I'm his wife. Like, it's time for her to move on. Like, get a man. Your son ain't your man. Mind you, I had transparency about that yesterday. 14 signs you have a toxic mother-in-law. She's always right without exception. She's never wrong. She'll never admit to being wrong. She'll never apologize for anything. She's dismissive, will ignore you. Like, you go to the house, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm thinking about a couple toxic people right now, and I never thought about it in this sense. Like, people who make you speak to them first, people who, like, you have to be the one to speak to them versus, just like mutually, hey, how you doing? It's just like you have to go above and beyond to be the one to speak to them. Like, they'll never speak to you. You have to say hello. You have to, how are you doing? And it's like, I'm fine. And won't even ask you how you doing. I'm fine. You say bye. They be like, all right. Like, yo, I'm a whole human out here. What are you doing? Makes it clear that they don't like you. They communicate to you in 1,001 subtle ways. And let's talk about subtleties. It doesn't have to be blatant, I don't like you. It can be, making everybody else a plate and then like, oh, you're good, right? Like, you can make your own plate. You don't need anything, right? You're good. Expects you to be completely submissive. Yo, I cannot tell you. And you know what? Asaria said a few years ago, she thought that I had toxic traits, but as of now, I do not. And when I think about like complete subserviency, I did have a belief, like, I'm the parent, you're the child. And Asaria corrected me real quick, and she's like, nah, you're a human and I'm a human, and just because I'm a little human doesn't mean that you get to neglect my thoughts, feelings, and emotions. You don't talk to me crazy because you don't want me to talk. Yo, when I tell you Asaria is a different breed, Asaria is a different one and has been different since she was little. And so I think she is 15 now, and I think she was like 11. And she was like, I don't like it when you yell at me. You can talk to me, and we can talk, and you can talk, and you can talk. Because Anari hate for me to talk. Anari just want me to beat him. He's like, can you stop talking? But there was a time I was just like, listen, like, I'm the parent, you're the child. you have no say. There is no conversation. You do what I tell you to do. And then I want to say, like, when I was introduced to Derek Grace, the guy with all the tattoos on his face and created curriculums and has 1,000,001 golden guns. So when I was introduced to Derek Grace a couple years back, one of the things that he discusses in his books is, understanding your child. Your child is a soul. So everybody, like, regardless of age, everyone is a soul, right? And so when you treat a soul a certain way, you inadvertently allow yourself, your own soul, to be treated a certain way. And so Derek is like, my children and I are on an equal playing field. And that was really hard for me in the beginning to understand that, because it's just like, but we're not. Because the way that I was raised, you're a child, you're to be seen and not heard. Go sit your ass down and don't say nothing until somebody come talk to you. You don't touch nothing, don't look at nothing, like you are non-existent. And a lot of us grew up in households where we were completely non-existent, completely ignored. And that's why my voice is so loud now. That's why I want to talk about everything now, because I was silenced as a child. My mother said, you always been opinionated. Don't say that. But you silenced me. But having control issues, wanting you to be like subservient, wanting you to like, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And that was me. Yo, let me tell you how bad now that we're getting into it, I'm really seeing like my characteristics of the past. I never understood why, but my kids were like 9 and 7 when they were still asking me, Mommy, can I go to the bathroom? I'm like, yo, just go to the bathroom. Why are you asking me? And it's because I was just like, don't do nothing unless you ask permission. Mommy, can I have an apple? Go get a damn apple. What the hell it's in the refrigerator. Do we have apples? Go get an apple. I definitely had to let that go, but Baby Rain might need some more. Baby Rain might need some reins on him. Having control issues, don't respect your words, your choices, or your personal space. I know for a fact, so we're going to be having a conversation later, because as I went through some of these toxic traits, I do realize that, yes, I have grown, but I want to eliminate any of the toxicity that resides within me. Where the money resides, where the money resides. So all of the toxic traits within me, we're going to get rid of those. And so we're going to sit down and have a conversation this evening. And I know for a fact that Sari is going to hit me with you don't respect my personal space. My room is my sanctuary. And you be coming in my room, sitting on my bed, talking about some let's talk. I don't want to talk. I'm not ready to talk. If I want to talk, I'm going to come in your room and talk to you. So can you just my personal space? I can't tell you how many times I done told this girl I'm gonna take her door off the hinges as much as she want a damn door closed. But that's because that's the way that I was raised. Don't close no door, don't slam no door, I'll take the damn door. How many of us were raised in that and not even knowing it was toxic? It was just your adults telling you what your constraints, what your confines are. And it's really difficult. And Kaylin, I just came over here to the comments. Kaylin's like, I hear you, but coming from a West Indian background, that's not the case. We were not raised like that. I don't know if I would call it toxic. It's just a different culture. Yes and no, because that's what I was just about to say, Kaylin. Like when you come from a certain household, you're like, that's just normal. That's like certain levels of respect. That's not crazy. That's not weird. Your ass need to sit down and shut the hell up and don't touch anything. But at the same, there's a difference between being respectful and having a parent that demands respect versus a parent that demands you, a parent that gaslights you, that makes you feel guilty, a parent that, doesn't respect you, don't respect your partner, doesn't respect decisions that you make, your heart is set on communications, but your mom wants you to be a damn nurse. It's like, that's not what I want to do. Well, that's what you should do. That's where all the money is. Think about how many times, don't accept your sexuality or your gender non-conformity. That There's a difference between not respecting it and like personally attacking you for your choices. That's the fine line. And there's a difference between being West Indian and having a toxic parent. So what I struggle with for this next one is like they always talk about your weight or talk about your imperfections. And so the reason why I struggle with that is because it then calls many family members toxic. It calls some of my aunties, oh, hey, honey, how you doing? You gained some weight, didn't you? What you been eating? You ain't been working out. Like it then to say that is to say that some of the people that I don't view as toxic are actually toxic. And it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to sit here and think about one of my aunties as being toxic. Because I know how sweet she is. But now that I think about it, she is hella toxic. Yo, she is hella toxic. And will talk about you. She'll talk about you behind your back, but she ain't saying nothing that she ain't finna say to your face. But, you know, culturally, she's just keeping it real. That's just auntie being auntie. Like, we all just accepted her for being who she is. And it's really difficult to acknowledge that some of these behaviors that we've allowed for our entire lives are really toxic traits. Ignoring healthy boundaries. Parents justify keeping a close eye on their children in certain situations and may even be necessary, but do a bit of snooping to keep them safe. However, there needs to be boundaries. Yo, my kids hit me with the boundaries all the time. Yo, what's your phone password? Nah, I paid a bill. What's your phone password? I'm going to pay the bill. I don't care who paid the bill. Did I buy the phone? Do you live in my house? Give me the phone and give me the password. Yo, Anari's like, I can't find my phone. Like, I don't know where my phone's at. This boy could not find his phone for like 4 hours. So I was like, all right, get out. And I went in the room and yo. Let me snitch on Anari real quick. So somebody hit me up and so Anari got a secret snap. Asari got a snap. I follow Asari on Snap. She follow me on Snap. I watch Asari's Snap. She watch my Snap. Anari done created 1,000,001 emails to go with his 1,000,001 snaps. And as soon as he delete one and open another one, all 15,000 followers know to follow him right to the new one. I don't know how he do it. He might need to be my social media manager, actually. Yo, for real. Because Anari got clout. Social media. Anari got clout for days. And they follow him heavy. I have no idea. Like, somebody was like, oh, how do I follow him? I don't know, because I can't follow him. He won't tell me what the damn snap is. So Nari got in trouble for posting something on something. I'm like, give me the phone. He's like, I can't find it. I end up tearing the room apart. This boy done hid the phone on top of the closet, in the back, in a basket, inside of a bag, underneath. I was like, yo, what you mean you can't find the phone? You hid it. You hid it so I wouldn't find it. What's the password? I forgot. Yo, I'm going to choke shit out of you. What's the password? I don't know. Okay. You ain't finna get this phone back. And days. He went days with no phone. And then he gave me the password. He was like, but mom, I want to explain something real quick. I was like, listen, I don't even want to go through it no more. I wouldn't even I'm done. I am done. But at 17 years old, I'm almost 18. That don't mean nothing. You're going to be 25. I can't say give me your phone at 25, but You still gonna be if you live in my house and you walking out of a door, yes, you gonna say bye. Yes, you gonna tell me where you going. And yes, I wanna know what time you coming back. He showed me this meme on TikTok. It was the funniest thing I ever seen. And it was so accurate for our relationship. So he was just like, it was a boy who came in the room and he was like, Mom, so you know I'm 18 and I just wanted to go over a few things that are going to change. He was just like, so when I go outside, I'm not going to tell you where I'm going. When I come back, I'll come back when I get ready because I'm 18. Something like, just mad, like going down the list about I don't have no curfew. Curfew don't exist for me no more. I'm 18. You can't give me no curfew. And because I'm 18, you can't beat me no more. Yo, the mom came back and she was like, but it wasn't the mom. And he was like playing his mom, whatever. And he was just like, oh, that's fine. Absolutely no problem. So I just want to let you know that when my door locks at 10 p.m., me and my children will be in the house. And because you're 18, you can cook your own food. You can do your own laundry. You actually owe me rent per month. And I won't beat you anymore. What I'll do is I'll be petty and I'll go ahead and would you say we could shoot the fair one and then I'm gonna be petty and call the cops and say that what did he say? Mom, you can't beat me because I'm a grown ass man. And she was just like, oh, that's perfectly fine because we could shoot the fair one and I'm gonna be petty and call the police and say a grown ass man put hands on me. And he looked and walked out the door and walked out. Yo, me and Anari were laughing for days. And it's like, it's accurate. When you come in a room, you think you about to be grown. 25 years old to this day. My mom talks about how when I was pregnant with Anari at 20 and I was texting, this bag on flip phones and little blue Nokia, I was texting his father, but I was staying at my mom's house and she was like, who you on the phone with at 11 o'clock at night? This is my house. Give me the phone. And she was like, you remember, my dad be like, you remember the time your mother took your phone? She was pregnant. I don't She's pregnant with a kid. Like, what else can she do? How you gonna take her phone? She's 20 years old, pregnant with a kid. But my mother did not play. Like, I really didn't have my phone until the next day. They make you responsible. People or parents or family members that are toxic as hell make you responsible for their happiness. So one of your parents spend a lot of time telling you how much they gave up for you in connection with their happiness. Then they were placing unrealistic expectations on your role in their life. No child should be held accountable for their parents' happiness. Also, parents should never demand the children give up things in order to make the parent happy. Being forced into the situation will make things difficult for adult children to understand that we are all responsible for our own happiness. And then you get into a relationship and you mad at the man who didn't call you back. Like, why would you do that to me? Why would you left me on red? Why you wouldn't call me back? I was at work. You know I can't pick up the phone when I'm at work. You want me to have a job or you want me to talk to you? Because my supervisor surely will fire me for trying to pick up the phone to talk to you and I'm not on break. Make you responsible for their happiness. Like the whole, why you didn't come, why you 45 minutes late? You had me worried, but we talked and I told you I was on my way. But that was 30 minutes ago. You had me out here nervous. You had me out. No, like that. We think that's cute. That is toxic as hell. You didn't answer your phone, so I popped up at your house. Let me tell you how crazy I used to be, right? So boom, right? So once upon a time, I was speaking with somebody and I did not answer my phone. I don't know what I was doing. I wasn't like purposely ignoring this individual, but this person popped up at my house. My crazy ass was like, he's so sweet. No, he's crazy. He's crazy. Don't nobody just pop up at your house because I came over because you didn't answer the phone. What is this, a wellness check? Are you the police? What are you doing? This is nah. And again, I was so crazy. It was like, oh my gosh, he loved me. Girl, he tapped. That's what it is. I remember a time when my oldest daughter's husband and myself were having a conversation, and he was telling her she can have her friends over. I flipped out to myself in my head and was saying, who the hell is this man, her biological father, telling my children she can have people over my house? That's when I realized I needed to change my mindset, and I cannot be my mother. I get it. I absolutely get it. And you know what? If we're being transparent and I'm being honest, there were times where it had nothing to do with the children, but the fact that his decision for the children took away my power. Like if we being transparent, I could be honest. There were a lot of things that I, in the beginning of my children's lives, was completely toxic. It was just like, I want to take them to the balloon, the hot air balloon. And I'm like, nah, they ain't going to the hot air balloon. Why they need to get in a hot air balloon? I was jealous because I wanted to get in a hot air balloon. Why we can't do family things? Because we ain't a family. Like, we had kids and we're co-parenting. You can't come. And that was like, in the beginning of my development, that was really, really hard for me to accept. That was, when I tell you it's just you and I, this is real life therapy. This is real life. And so multiple times, Anari and Asaria's father, Javison wanted to do a lot of if we call Javison right now, I'm not putting myself on that shopping block. But if we called Javison right now, he'd be like, Tayla, you still are crazy, but you were crazier. There were a lot of things that I hindered my children from doing. And I if we're being 100% honest and 100% transparent, one of the things that really altered me from being toxic was one day Harvey came to pick up the children. And I don't know what happened or what the circumstances were, but he came to pick up the children for his weekend, and we agreed that it was going to be his weekend and everything was good. But because I was angry and because I was mad, I changed my mind and was like, no, they can't. I think I found out that they were going to do something fun with his girlfriend. I was just like, you're not playing Dolly House with my kids. Like, my kids are not here for your entertainment and for your fun. And there was a whole literal physical struggle of him trying to take our daughter out of the house and me trying to rip her back out of his hands to bring her back in the house. And it was Anari's face talking about, mommy, I'll stay. Like, when I think about this, I really do want to, I'm so emotional thinking about this, because we were on the stairs and he was walking down the stairs trying to walk out the house. And I grabbed Asaria and was pulling her back up the stairs. And Anari was like, no, mommy, it's okay. I'll stay, mommy. I won't go. And even thinking that level of toxicity is insane. And to think that I actually engaged in that type of behavior because out of jealousy, out of anger, out of my own self-pity, for what? And Anari and Asaria end up going with Javison that night. And I really had to sit with myself. And that is when a lot changed for me. That night, that moment, Anari, bringing his bag back in the house, bringing Asaria's bag back in the house. No, mommy, it's okay. I'll stay. That hit different. It hit completely different. And so, how do you confront a toxic person? And so we understand now what it means to have toxic relationships, people with control issues, people who don't respect you, people who play emotional games with you, people who want to be the center of attention and have puppeteer, want to be the puppeteer out of all of people's feelings and emotions, and having the control issue, really narcissistic behavior, smear tactics, using things against you, like being a family member that you not consulted, that you confined in, and for them to take that and use it against you, and to but now that we know what to do how do you combat it? Like, what do you do about it? And so one of the things that you can do is you can never communicate with them again. You don't have to. As an adult, you no longer have to engage in that. You do not have to be. And when I'm thinking about Drop Dead Fred, and remember, her mom was super toxic. And that's why Drop Dead Fred was even created in her mind as a not fictional character, imaginary friend, is because her mother was so toxic. And so she made a decision as she got older that she was no longer going to allow her mother's toxic ways to control her. And so she took back her power. And this is something that I am still learning, like how to take back your power. We give away our power way too much. We give away our power to knowingly and unknowingly, to our friends, to our family, to people who don't even care about us. We give away our power to thoughts and ideas. And we give away our power when we think that something else can do. When we seek outside ourselves for the answers is every time we give away our power. When you go out there and you let your friends dictate and determine decisions for you, you give away your power. When you allow your parents to tell you the rights and wrongs of what's best for you, you give away your power. When you know you want to do this thing, but you don't do it out of fear, you gave away your power to fear. And so in this moment, I would love for you to out loud by yourself with a friend later on in your, private space, I call back my power that I gave away knowingly or unknowingly. Through all space, through all times, through all dimensions, I call back all of my power. And so you can call back your power and you can stop interacting or having relationship with this person who's toxic. Most toxic people are not a Tayla Andre and want to change. Most toxic people like who they are and want to be in their way, stay who they are. This is just the way I am. And no, I did not find the quote that I was looking for. I have not found the damn quote that I'm looking for. I wrote it in a text message, but I can't figure out what phone it's in. And the quote that I'm looking for is like, a circumstance changes your mood. Your mood then turns into an attitude. An attitude then turns into a belief system. That belief system now becomes a part of your character. And so because this one thing happened to you, it changed who you became because you allowed that moment to define you. And so I still haven't found the damn quote that I'm looking for. And once I do, I will say it over and over again, so I will never forget. But you do not have to maintain that relationship. If you desire to confront this person, come with lists, come with notes. And I say that because this is exactly what the children did when they came to me. Mommy, we don't like it when you and daddy fight. When you and daddy fight, it makes us feel like da-da-da-da-da. When you and daddy do such and such, it makes us feel like this. And so, I remember the kids coming to me with their list, and me being the sentimental that I am, I probably still have the list somewhere. But come to them with a list. And the reason why I say come with a list is because if they're someone who naturally gaslights, they will flip that around real quick. And all of a sudden you'll be going down a rabbit hole about how you made them feel. But the whole conversation was about how I need you to stop doing these things because you're it's too toxic for me, and it's a succubus, and it's sucking out my energy, and I'm trying to live better, and I'm trying to do life different, and I don't want you in my life no more. So we can either talk about these things that are on my list and make me a priority, make my feelings a priority, make my emotions a priority, or don't say nothing to me moving forward. And that's difficult when it's your mom. That's difficult when it's your dad. That's difficult when it's your grandma. That's a difficult conversation. Like, it's too toxic for me. You have to make yourself a priority. And do you know how much healing comes with having a toxic family member, especially if it was a family member that was in your immediate, like your immediate family member. Someone you had interactions with every single day, and to all of a sudden say, I don't want to speak with you no more. That's a lot of healing that you have to do. How you engage in relationships with your friends. You now have to assess and reevaluate, who are you as a person? Who could you have been had you not had this toxic relationship? How would that have altered your friendships? How would that have altered the fact that your daddy was so toxic? Now you think it is acceptable for you to be in a toxic relationship with a man. There's no difference from physical abuse and mental abuse. If you're used to physical abuse and if you're used to physical abuse in your childhood and then you grow up and you find yourself in abusive relationships, it's because you think that's what you deserve because it's not what you've always had. And so if you had mental toxicity and mental abuse in your childhood, you seek out abusers as adults. Your friends are abusers. You don't know why your friends treat you this way. You don't know why your friends do this to you. You don't know why your friends put you in certain positions because you are so used to being taken advantage of. That's a lot of healing. That is so much healing. Reevaluate the relationships that you had in the past with male or females, like dating relationships. You really have to take a look at, like, if I had a toxic family member, how has that relationship transformed itself into my adult life? Come with a list. Make yourself a priority and know who you're dealing with. Ooh, know who you're dealing with. Know and expect. Because we as humans, yesterday, making excuses for others, having conversations about making excuses for others. How many times? Oh, that's just the way she is. That's just who she is. She's never going to change. Making excuses, one day she'll get better. If I just do what she wants me to do, it'll get better. If I just, do what my grandmother wants me to do, it'll get better. I am so blessed. I'm so blessed. Now that, as I think about it, I don't have a grandparent that's toxic. I don't have a parent that's toxic. I don't have siblings that's toxic. When I think about how blessed I am in that sense and how many people, my parents love how vocal I am. But can you imagine if my mom was like, yo, I really hate it when you talk about family things? There were a couple, I've had multiple hard conversations on air, hard conversations with my mom on air, hard conversations with my dad. There was a conversation that I had with my daddy, and he didn't know that we were on air. And he said a lot of things that I heard it through the grapevine. My mother and father have not spoken since I was 14 years old. But they had a conversation, not like a conversation, but they heard about each other that day. And it was like a year ago. I had a real hard conversation with my daddy. And my mom called me and she was just like, that was hard to listen to. That was really hard to listen to. Though that may have been that perspective, I don't believe it to have been the full truth. And I think about how different that conversation could have been had my mom been toxic or had my father been toxic. All of us have issues. All of us have generational, all of it. Like every single last one of us are not exempt from real life. And it's just, what are you going to do? Are you going to make self-care a priority? Are you going to make yourself a priority? Are you going to choose what's best for you, regardless of whose feelings it hurts? And that is part of being a victim of and you don't have to claim victimhood, but if you've ever been a victim of a toxic relationship, you tend to make excuses for other people, and you tend to try and do your best to change you in order to accommodate for them. And so there's a lot of, again, healing that needs to be done within self. And I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking to you. If the shoe fits, then please wear it, because both of these shoes fit very well and they're kind of tight. And so when I say you have to make your self-care a priority, you have to know who you're dealing with. You have to be mindful of how you connect with them. When you connect with them, you got to protect your energy. And so I want to speak about, energetically, to protect yourself, to put on that armor of protection, regardless of your religion. That armor of protection isn't just for the devil, baby. Like, the devil is in the details everywhere you go. And sometimes it might be in the midst of, dealing with your parents, dealing with your grandparents, dealing with your siblings, your auntie, your friendships, your relationship. You have to learn self-compassion. Love yourself enough to say, I am not. You will not. Figure out the direction that you want to go in life. How do you want this to end? These are all things that you need to have in the forefront of your mind. If it go left or if it go right, I want to have a relationship with you. I really do love you, but these aren't working for me. And then talk about the things that aren't working for you, and make sure you have your list so you don't be taken down a rabbit hole and blamed for, making someone else feel when it's about you at this point in time. You have to take control of the circumstance. You set the meeting, you set the place, you set the time. It puts the ball in your court. It gives you the control, and also make it a place that you easily can walk out of and never look back. Once you have that conversation, where do you how do you want this to move? Either way, if it's absolutely perfect and we're working on building our relationship as a mother-daughter situation, or a mother-aunt, like whatever that if we're working on our relationship, what do you want that to look like? And make sure you put it on paper. And if it goes absolutely to the right and you're like, this is not going to work, what does it, you have to look at the pros and cons of what it is that you are deciding and stick with it. So don't sit here and decide that you're no longer going to speak to this person. You're going to sever the relationship, the friendship, the whatever it is. You're going to keep it moving and guard your peace and protect your aura and keep it. And don't go back there, because once us as humans, psychologically, we have been this victim for so long that when we take ourselves out of victimhood, all of a sudden we know we're lost. We don't know who we are. That was another thing as far as the children were concerned. Relinquishing that control over the children and allowing him to have full access to the kids whenever he wanted to have access to the kids meant that I was no longer a mom. Mentally, this is how crazy I was at one time. You're taking my title away. Like, my kids aren't here. I don't know who I am without my kids. I have a friend, and I do feel like my friend is currently in that space where they don't know who they are without the children. And so the kids don't go on over here or over there, because if the kids are gone, then who am I? And I think that I didn't notice the time. We didn't play no commercials. I'm going to get beat. Toxic relationships, how to spot them, how to confront them with love, and how to love yourself enough to walk away. To finish that thought intentionally, my problem was I didn't know who I was. And I do believe that when you have children at a young age, so teen moms or early 20 age moms and dads, once you have this developmental portion of your life fully involved in these little people or in this little person, once that little person's no longer little, you don't, and frankly, that's probably why Baby Rain here right now, because Anari big and Asari is big, and I was just like, who is Tayla with no kids? What am I doing? I need a kid. And that's probably why baby ain't here. Transparency. Waking up with Tayla Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. I have no problem putting myself on the chopping block. I have no problem with being transparent, because if my transparency helps heal you or helps you realize certain things about you, it is not in vain. And so, I received a message and somebody was like, I don't know how you could, you be spilling tea. And it has nothing to do with spilling tea. This is real life. People engage in these, like, this is relationships that we need to have conversations about. These are the type of things that we should be talking about. Instead of having group chats talking about people, let's talk about the things that we need to do to heal together, to heal as a community. As a community, there's a whole lot of ish that we need to heal from things that we do to ourselves, to the DNA memory or cellulose memory of our ancestors. And so I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I am Tayla Andre. Everything Tayla Andre, TaylaAndre.com. Y'all like the spectacles? Like the glasses. If you are listening to the show in your vehicle, or you are wherever you are and would like to view the show, you can always go to YouTube and search TaylaAndre and watch the show. You don't always have to listen if you don't want to. Stockholm Syndrome, Mike. Nice. Thank you so much for that language. That's exactly what it is. And so I leave you. I bid you adieu. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. I love you. I appreciate you. Make sure you get your Finally Home. I'm so excited. It has been translated into Spanish. We are working on the audiobook. And do not forget one last thing. If you know any elders, any family, anybody that is disabled, that is in need of food, a big box of food, some eggs, some cheese, some meat, some fish, some vegetables, some good food, wholesome food. Yo, Miss Shelley was giving out pomegranates. I was like, yo, when I was going to the food baskets, they were giving them nasty little cans of tuna with peanut butter, no bread. Miss Shirley give you everything, baby. So if you know somebody who's in need of food, text BLACK to 33339. 4 3s and a 9. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I love you so much. Mwah.